What's up guys, John here and welcome to Baltimore Retro Gaming. And on today's episode, guess what? I got another SEGA Genesis game for you. You know guys, there are so many fantastic Genesis games in the library. You know, I just have to talk about them. I'm having a blast just like finding these games and playing them. Because like, you know, in my mind, I think I played them all, but there's so many awesome games out there that I'm playing. And I actually got one I've been wanting to play for a while, and I just found it recently. And that is Thunder Force 3 on the SEGA Genesis. Let's check it out. Okay, so this is my copy of Thunder Force 3. It's a nice looking case, right? Guess what? I bought the game card only. Look, guys, I used to be one of those people. I needed to have it had to be complete. If it didn't have the manual and the cover art, I wasn't going to buy it. And because of that, my Genesis library suffered from me not getting as many titles as I want. And, you know, just the area that I'm living at, like I can find, here's the card. I'm trying to show it to you nice and clear. But, yeah, the card's in pretty good condition. I didn't even pay anywhere near that. I didn't pay anywhere near that. But yeah, I mean, I think this game does go for that, maybe on like eBay, like 35 bucks. This is an amazing shooter. This is an amazing shooter, and I'm not going to not play this game because it's card only. Now, it looks this good because I go to SegaRetro.com, I click on my files, I drag them over into Adobe Photoshop, I use photo paper and print them, and guys, these... Look, let me just show you something. I think the prints that I make damn near look better than some of the original cover art. I mean, it's fantastic. And yeah, I want the original stuff though, but this looks good on, you know, it looks good with all my games in one spot. You know, like I'm not like a shelf collector. I'm not one of those type of guys, but like, you know, this makes my game look a lot better. So that's one of the videos I'm going to do in the future, guys. I'm going to show you guys, you know, the site that I used to get this artwork and how to print it and the paper to use and all that. So, yeah, I'm going to have one of those coming up soon. But, yeah, that's my copy of Thunder Force 3. You know, guys, if you live in the Baltimore area, there's tons of these great games, loose cart, floating around everywhere. They're cheap. You know, buy them, you know. For all you guys that watch my channel and you're local, you know, look for these games. But, yeah, that's my copy of Thunder Force 3. Now let's check in with Wikipedia and learn some facts about Thunder Force 3. So, Thunder Force 3 is a 1990 scrolling shooter game developed by Technosoft for the SEGA Genesis. It is the third chapter in the Thunder Force series, obviously. It was then retooled into an arcade game named Thunder Force AC in 1991. Thunder Force AC was ported to the Super Nintendo Entertainment System under the name Thunder Spirits. Now, I don't own Thunder Spirits for the Super Nintendo, but for years I've seen YouTube videos comparing Thunder Spirits to Thunder Force 3 on the SEGA Genesis, and a lot of times they compare, mainly it's just the graphics and the sound. You know, a lot of people argue about what sounds better. I mean, I just kind of want to play Thunder Spirits, so I will look for that game for the Super Nintendo, but odds are it's probably going to be a little bit pricey. Now, a very interesting game mechanic that I noticed when you turn on Thunder Force 3, you'll notice that you have a stage select screen from the beginning of the game, you know, kind of similar to Mega Man without as many selection options. But I think that gives the game a lot of replay value because it's not like the game is repetitive. You know, it can be repetitive, but you can have like a different starting point every time you start the game. And just to me, I feel like that gives the game, at least for a shooter and for a fan of the genre like myself, it gives the game a lot more replay value. Now, of the planets you can choose from in the beginning of the game, like I said, there's 5 of them, and they are Hydra, Gorgon, Serene, Hades, and Ellis. I hope I pronounced those names right. But pretty much what it is like one's like an underwater level, one's like a fire level, and we'll get into that fire level here in a little bit. That level's level 2, and it's got some of the most killer parallax scrolling going on in the background. It's kind of like a weird Mode 7 kind of parallax scrolling. We'll get into that in a little bit. But, you know, you have your like cave level, your sky level. So, you know, pretty much, you know, what you would expect from a game, you know, in the mid-90s. Or, you know, a game similar to like, you know, Mega Man with the various different kinds of levels they're going to incorporate in the game. Now, as far as the weapons go in Thunder Force 3, you have a large variety of weapons, at least I feel like for a game especially this old. You know, you have Well, it says here in Wikipedia, it says that the weapon system from Thunder Force 2 returns in this game, with some modifications. Some weapons from Thunder Force 2 are reused or slightly modified. The enhanced twin shot and back shot still remain defaults, while others are completely new and exclusive to the game. But, pretty much you have, one shot that kind of like spreads across the screen. You have one shot that fires like forwards and backwards. Of course, you have like your heat sinking shot. I'm sure you can look at the footage and kind of see the different kind of weapons that they give you in the game. But one way that this game differs from Thunder Force 2 is if you die, only the weapon that you're using is going to be lost, and you can get that weapon back, by collecting it up later on in the game. And, guys, Thunder Force 2, I was not a huge fan of Thunder Force 2. The only Thunder Force games that I own now are Thunder Force 2, Thunder Force 3, and Thunder Force 6, which is amazing. But, man, Thunder Force 2, I either want it to be a vertically scrolling or a horizontal scrolling game. I don't want the option to go all over the screen, and that's what they did for Thunder Force 2. And although a lot of people love that game, it's just really not for me. Now, as far as the bosses and kind of like the flow of the game, I feel like this game flows very well. The option to have your own starting point in the game, the variety of levels, the music. That's another thing we'll have to get into, the music, which is pretty good. The visuals, although the bosses, they're not super visually stunning, nothing that you're going to, nothing to write home about or anything like that, but they are pretty good. And they're not super technical, and that's a good thing because every boss is going to have like this this weak spot on their body, and you kind of have to find that weak spot by watching if they blink, when you fire and you hit them. So as soon as you find that weak point, all you have to do is pretty much fire at that weak point for just a few seconds, and then the boss is dead. And every boss is going to have a specific pattern that you're going to have to learn, and it's not randomized at all. And once you see that pattern, and once you play this game a bunch of times, you'll memorize all the patterns, and you can just blow through all the bosses. But again, that's a good thing because, again, I believe that makes this game flow very well. Now, one thing that I do want to talk about that sets this game apart from many, many other Genesis games or 16-bit games in general is the graphics and the music in Thunder Force 3. Now, first of all, let's talk about the graphics. So, earlier I said there was like this level 2 with this like fire in the background, and it looks amazing. So you should have seen that in this video by now, or maybe it's coming up, I forget, but there's going to be these flames. And remember the Super Nintendo games with the Mode 7 chip, how things would kind of like wave in the background? Well, this game has that, and it has it in level 2, and level 2 just looks, it's so psychedelic and just so beautiful, and I don't want to pay attention to any of the enemies or any of the enemy bullets or anything like that. I just want to look into the background, and that has gotten me killed, quite a few times in level 2. But seriously though, guys, like the parallax scrolling in this game is absolutely incredible. I had my Genesis hooked up to like an 80-inch TV, and normally I wouldn't do that because I like the smaller picture, but just like looking at that parallax scrolling on such a large TV, it just looks incredible. Like it almost looks like 3D. So guys, just the game's graphics are absolutely incredible, and I always talk about two games that really show the power of the system. I mean, this game is almost up there with those two games, and those two games are Contra Hard Corps and Battlemania 2. Those are two of the games that I rank, really, really high on that list. Actually, no. You know what? It's Panorama Cotton. I'm sorry. Panorama Cotton and Contra Hard Corps. But, that other game I just mentioned, Battlemania 2, that one's actually pretty incredible as well. But, guys, so the music in Thunder Force 3 is just like, if you like chiptunes and you like that whole 16-bit, like the stuff that sounds kind of like Mega Man for those of you that aren't really into video games, just the music is incredible. It's nothing that, it's not like Gleylancer good, but it's almost Gleylancer good. And for those of you that don't know Gleylancer, that's like my favorite video game soundtrack of all time. It's kind of weird to say because it's a 16-bit game, but guys, it is. And this game has an incredible soundtrack. It sounds amazing. When you can listen to music in a game and it gets you pumped up and it keeps the rhythm going, that's a good music in a game, and this game has that. So guys, I mean, just the overall package, the price, the price is kind of high on this game, but again, find it card only or download a ROM, use an emulator. But just the price, it's not too terribly expensive, especially loose cart. You know, the music in the game is incredible. The visuals in this game are incredible. Just the gameplay and the flow of the game and the fact that it's a shoot 'em up, and I love shoot 'em ups. Like, guys, this is a must own. If you like shoot 'em ups or 16-bit games or arcade style games, or just you want to own good games on the Genesis, this game is definitely for you. So, as I say with a lot of the games that I show on my channel, and I mean it when I say it, guys, this game, Thunder Force 3, is a must own. Okay, guys, so Thunder Force 3, you copping or what? I feel like this game's worth it, even though this is kind of one of the pricier games. It's not too bad, but trust me, guys, this game is totally worth your money. If you want this game card only, it's going to cost you anywhere from $30 to $40. If you want it complete, now you can get the Japanese copy complete, and I totally recommend doing that. Use a Game Genie, play any region game you want on your Genesis. But you can find the Japanese version complete in box with the manual and cover art for right around $30 to $35. Now, if you want the US version, you can probably find a copy for $75 if you hunt around, and then they can go up to $100, $110, you know, brand new. I'm sure they cost a lot more than that. But even at that higher price point, I totally recommend Thunder Force 3. Is an amazing shooter. And if you're a fan of the genre, you kind of owe it to yourself to play this game, because this is one of the classics. You know, this is to the Thunder Force series what, you know, the original R-Type is to the R-Type series, or the original, you know, Gradius is to the Gradius series. You know, that's how much impact this game has on the Thunder Force series. And guys, you know, the first Thunder Force game I ever played was Thunder Force 6 on the PlayStation 2, the Japanese version. So I was really missing out on this as a kid. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Now go on my Instagram. You know, I'm going to post some, you know, some shirts, you guys, if you want them. Some Giga Wing shirts, Galay Lancer, stuff like that. You know, any of the shirts I post. You know, I can make you a Life Force shirt if you want. It's pretty cool. Or Salamander if you're in, you know, Europe or Japan. But, yeah, 25 bucks shipped. You know, some places in the world I charge like 30, but, you know, only if it costs a lot more in shipping. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like this video. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, peace out.